Thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com, home of technical analysis education in both the stock market and cryptocurrency worlds. See the links in the description of this video for more information on our 2 courses, Entries and Exits on the Fundamentals of Technical Analysis, as well as our new course on Trading Cryptocurrency Strategy. Purchase both and receive a 20% off bundle discount. Thanks for checking us out. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Hello everyone, another late night video here looking at the big 3, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. To start it off, we have Bitcoin following through. We're seeing the same thing day after day after day, and it's very apparent on the shorter term time frames. But the bears are in full control. We have our bearish reversal doji. We confirmed it, and we've seen follow through now. We're looking at anything above 40.15 as a higher low on the daily time frame. That's the level the bulls need to hold to form this higher low. So we are looking for a bullish reversal candlestick to form either today. This candlestick is about 4 hours old into the day. So either this candlestick or the next one. I am anticipating a higher low to form compared to 40.15. And from there, we'll see a bounce and likely see a lower high compared to the recent high of 44.70. And I'll look for the range to tighten up. Where we break from there, we'll have to see. We're going to take it one step at a time. And that's what I'm looking for right now. So we're still down at the low of this pullback. So there's no sign of a turnaround, but just anticipating that the bulls are going to defend the support and establish that higher low. Watching the 4-hour time frame, the pattern has been dump, weak bounce, dump, weak bounce, dump, weak bounce, dump. And the hourly time frame shows that really well, where we can just see a clear stair-step down pattern with no real turnaround for the bulls. And each time we see the dump, we don't see anything that says, oh, this time looks different. It's the same thing over and over. There's weak bounces and a lack of follow-through. So the RSI dips down to about the 30 level. There are some short-term oversold bounces that can be made for quick flips for trades, but it is really fighting the trend. It's like swimming upstream. It's best to keep your floaties on and stay out of the river and wait till the trend changes so you can be swimming with the current. So we are looking, and that's of course if you're playing bullish. If you're playing bearish, this is a great pattern, and you are locking in gains on these dumps. So right now we have a new lower low. 41.75 was that low. We just hit 41.70. We can zoom in and see the 15-minute time frame is just hitting oversold. We've dipped down on this pullback. The 15-minute RSI at the 20 level in the low 20s has indicated the bounces. So that's been the time frame that I've been utilizing to look for some short-term oversold bounces, and certainly not making any significant gains here. I had a very small gain in Litecoin today, and nothing to even write home about, nothing worthwhile, but just, enough to have a little bit of excitement while we patiently wait. And again, it is a waiting game right now. So an all-out dump the last half hour. If we break 41.70, the next support to be looking at, let's look at the 4-hour time frame. I'm looking down here at 41.35, a consolidation low where we pulled back, formed a higher low, and then a higher high. That's the next support level to be watching. We had a very clear bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern formed on the hourly time frame when this bounce, or I should say when this dump started, and it's done nothing but follow through. So we will look for another oversold bounce in the near-term future as the RSI levels are getting oversold. The 4-hour RSI has a ways to go before we're oversold. We could drop down towards that 40.15 level before this 4-hour gets oversold. So keep a close eye on this 4-hour RSI because it has indicated some really nice bounces in the past. We had our V-shaped recovery from the all-out dump here where we saw the huge bounce, but just looking for the RSI to head to that 30 level to get oversold. Because the hourly oversold bounces aren't significant at this point, it does look like it's going to take a 4-hour oversold bounce in order to see some momentum gained by the bulls. Ethereum is getting extremely tight. There's very low volume, but we have our high, low, lower high. Anything above 278 is a higher low. The bulls ideally want to hold 287, but we are right at that level right now. And that 278 level would be the next support to be watching. So the range I'm watching is 278 support and 304.69 resistance, this lower high, and still maintaining a support on the hourly. 4-hour time frame for Ethereum, also a ways away from oversold. We'd have to dump down into the 270s in a pretty short amount of time for this 4-hour RSI to drop down to oversold. We are looking at a bull MACD cross pretty close on Litecoin and Ethereum, but there's no sign of the bulls following through. We have to break a lower high pattern on the 4-hour time frame to be looking for this bull MACD cross, and we have not seen that happen. The hourly time frame, same thing as Bitcoin, just a clear dump, weak bounce, dump, weak bounce, dump. And this bounce was a little bit more prolonged. It had a little bit more momentum behind it in the sense that we formed some higher lows, tried to turn things around. But as I pointed out in the video yesterday, it's just too easy for the bears to erase moves. Look at this move here. This took an hour and a half to see this much bullish action. And then in one hour candlestick, this is actually 6 hours. I was on the wrong time frame. 6 hours of bullish action. And then in 1 hour, we erased that and then some. So the bears have so much ability to just wipe out all the progress of the bulls, and that's why we are staying in this downtrend. So the 15-minute time frame for Ethereum is now hitting oversold on this absolute dump that we are currently seeing, and these dumps are very fierce when they do happen. The 5-minute RSI is even more oversold. We got down into the teens here, a weak bounce before continuation down. Look at the volume greatly favoring the bears. So it's the same story day after day, weak bounce, all-out dump. And right now, we do have a couple support levels left, 288 and 287.65. So the bulls would have to hold these supports and see a break of 294 and 295 in order to change this hourly momentum in favor of the bulls. It's still possible. We need that higher low first. We'll see if we can hold these levels because we are already in oversold shorter-term conditions. Litecoin on the daily time frame, right at key support, 50.35. So we have 50.35 support, 55.92 resistance, 5 days of pullback. It's very low volume. We are anticipating the bulls to show up, but the correlation with Bitcoin has us in scenarios where we hit oversold in these names, Ethereum and Litecoin, and we still have Bitcoin not in oversold conditions. So we have to be extra cautious because if Bitcoin does dump down to oversold conditions, we know that these two names, due to the correlations, can see extremely oversold conditions. So I'm watching Litecoin for a bounce with a 4-hour time frame. The RSI is the closest to oversold on the 4-hour for Litecoin. Again, the bull MACD cross on the 4-hour wouldn't take much to see that follow through. We did have a bullish reversal spinning top on high volume. We are not confirming it. The bulls are just trying to form an inside bar here. We do have a double bottom at 50.50 right now. We can see we dumped at 50.50 and we just bounced off of 50.50. Bulls would have to break 51.75 to see a change in momentum. This is the pattern I drew in yesterday's video, and right after I did that video, we had a very clear bull break, and that was some nice gains, where we had to move from 52 to 53 essentially, and we'll look at that pattern zoomed in a bit because it was a really nice tightening pattern, but we have the double bottom, have to break 51.75 for it to mean anything. So the 15-minute time frame, just down to oversold right now. We were extremely oversold earlier. 15-minute RSI was down at 15, and we saw a very significant bounce there. And I entered this trade and I exited early because I had to leave the computer and head into town for a few hours, and I missed this leg up here. Still made a small profit, but again, there are opportunities to play these bounces. It's just you have to be a lot quicker with your exit. You have to have a smaller target in terms of the profit you're going for. And we do see scenarios where these bounces do play out. And again, here was that break of this 15-minute pattern that I drew yesterday in that video. Higher lows, lower highs, clear bull break, and we saw a dollar move. So those dollar moves do add up if you can keep racking them up. And here was a $1.25 move. So they are present. It's just a lot less frequent, and we need to be cautious to try and get those. Otherwise, if you're not confident with trading and not, if you're in the learning process, you're sitting on the sidelines and practicing and watching, but you want to wait for the trend to be in your favor. So we just had a bullish reversal candlestick on the 15-minute, trying to confirm it for these bulls and just not seeing much follow through. So we have to break this lower high pattern on the 15-minute now that we have a double bottom, and we're just not confident that that's going to happen with the way that everything is set up. And we have to see Bitcoin do things first in terms of changing momentum. We have a new resistance level at 42.41, and then there's another one at 43.44. But as these thumbnails are showing us, patience is the name of the game. There's no rush here. This market's not going anywhere. If that's one scenario where, people have a really bullish year in cryptocurrency and they say, I want to be a day trader, I'm going to quit my job. And then we have downtrends and people forcing trades. If they say, oh man, I have to make $500 a day to be able to meet my budget and to pay my rent and things like that, that's when you are in a scenario where you're forcing trades and you're going to end up losing more than you win by having that stress and pressure to do that. So I always suggest that having either some additional income coming in, having a part-time job, or making sure you're really comfortable trading before you make a life decision based around it. Because if you've only been trading in a bull market, when we do shift to a bear market, and this is not a bear market, this is just a bearish 3-4 days in a row. But if we go to a bear market, then it is going to be a significant shock to the people who are used to bullish uptrends. And there are some people where, they expect 20% gains month over month because that's what we've been seeing in 2017. But I would just be very surprised for that to keep up. I would love for it to keep up, but I just don't foresee that happening. So we have days like this, or periods like this, of just multiple days in a row pulling back. Remember back just a month ago, we had a much more significant pullback. But it's just, it's give and take in terms of extremely nice action for the bulls and then nothing for the bulls to work with for weeks. So we're going to see if we can form this higher low on Bitcoin. Again, I am anticipating that we can, at least initially, and to see a short-term bounce off of that level. And we'll be looking for the other names to correlate on that bounce as well. So I hope you have a good night. We'll check back in tomorrow midday, and I'll see you then. What's going on there, bird?